This is the part where I admit to myself that when I conceive of moving back to the Midwest, I have to remember this happens. And this is why I left the Midwest. Seriously. Birds flying overhead. Where'd they go? There they are. Right, this is why I left the Midwest. So we're going to do a series of short videos today because I'm getting ready to go away, and I'd like to leave enough material on YouTube that people can think, come to their own conclusions. I feel like I've been a bit of a rapper, boasting and not delivering. So let's deliver. Let's talk about zero-point energy, which is ultimately the arrival of endogenous technology. Endogenous technology is lots of little and very large technologies that exist in support of arriving at zero-point energy. What is zero-point energy? I wish I could remember the name of Jason Lee's character in The Incredibles. What was his name? Synchrotron or something like that? Megatron? I don't know. Kids' movies. I don't remember that character's name, but he had zero-point energy, which was basically lightning telekinesis. That's what it was that he was offering as zero-point energy, was lightning telekinesis. And what you have to understand about electrical transmissions is there's always a plus and there's always a minus. And there's always a net. If you're using the energy to hurt something or to change something, there's always a depletion at one end and also very often a depletion at the other end. So zero-point energy says there's no energy lost. In modern energy, there's depletion at the extraction point and depletion at the delivery point. If you're looking at a weapon, it's double depletion plus whatever it is that you're losing in the transmission. So across the board, you're losing plus you're borrowing, and the whole thing is corrosive. And that's why it's not zero-point energy. It's energy intensive, we call it. But really what it is it loses shit tons of energy. And because our technology works that way, it reinforces a belief that scientists say, which is that the energy, that the universe is dissipating energy. And that isn't really how it works. The universe is finding new things to do with energy continuously. It's just that form and rules aren't as precious to it as they are to we silly little primate fools. To the universe, everything that you see is a tool. And it's a tool in service to the glories of eternity. And the glories of eternity are to, basically create anew, uniquely, infinitely, without the ability to exhaust the supply for this universe's exquisite demand to have as many different kinds of forms readily on hand to entertain itself with. Our ideas that the universe is finite are childish and unimaginative. Our ideas that the universe is trending toward entropy have no basis in reality. Again, they're childish and they're unimaginative, and they're based on suppositions that are about our brief history and our inferences about what we think we know. Our inferences at starlight. So much of our science is actually inference. And a lot of it we get right, but how right, we don't know. We haven't been to any stars other than our own yet. And we haven't been to that star either. We're just getting started. It's all inference. They're good guesses. Endogenous technology, 0 point energy, right? 0 point energy says everything in the universe wants to find harmony. Everything that projects something also feeds. And in feeding and projecting, the universe strives to attain perfection in its equation, where literally everybody that's hungry gets fed on something that is also dead. And that's not just life. That's matter too. And that's why matter matters. That's why life matters and is made of matter. It's just the course of matter that everything follows in a system of exchange, a transactional system, where there isn't profit. There's basically high and low pressure zones, just like weather systems. Time works exactly the same way. And when you have a species like ours that wakes up to an appendage in an overdeveloped way and gets really obsessed with little games that it can play now that it has these new abilities every day, it throws the whole business of being out of harmony on that planet, so far as we can see. And 0 point energy, in a very real way, is actually the drive to fall back into natural harmony. You watch my videos and you'll notice back there when I was talking about feeding, that car pulled up, right? That's the key to 0 point energy right there. Everybody's hungry. Everybody's hungry. Boom. There it goes. Another synchronicity. Everybody's hungry. That's the key. And what happens when basically all of the temporal balances are in place so that all the energy pieces end up where they need to go. And also at the same time, if you want to exert your will in an extraordinary way over more things than you can directly influence with what you do with your body and say with your mouth, but actually, you know, when you think about magic, influence things magically, it's really just all about understanding the different parts of the system that need to get fed. And also understanding where those feedings require things that are dead. And understanding that very often, in order to pay for the extraordinary, right, you have to do it with a pound of flesh. You figure out how to balance these processes, not into a flat, static plane, but into a dynamo that only looks insane, right? But actually, you put enough snap in the game, and the whole thing falls into a dynamic plane that rises and falls just like the tides. And if you get your spell right, it falls into the entire natural rhythm and pattern of time and matter. And you're now along for the ride. And when that happens, synchronicities start to coincide with everything that you do. It's how you know that you're in 0 point energy. It's how you know that you've fallen into the groove. Is when synchronicities dictate and dominate everything that you do. And when you're in that space, and when everything around you moves, it's like you're in the exact center of space. And you have power that you never knew, holding you in place, but also moving all those other things in space. Where I'm at is that the technologies that brought me to this point where I know how to do these things and can move the world in the way that I know how to move the world are limited. Why? Because we're cells in a larger organism. We're not meant to play alone. Life isn't a game of one, son. And playing 0 point energy alone, that isn't how you get things done. I want to teach you all everything that I know how to do. Because I'm convinced that if we can all come into 0 point energy together, we're going to discover something really extraordinary about ourselves, about our planet, and about life itself. And what that is that right now as a species, we believe that it's our purpose to work and shop as a reward. And what we should all be noticing very, very plainly is this pattern of working and shopping, and then on the back end throwing things away, which you do at both every single day. If you think about it, more goes out the door in the waste stream in your office or your McDonald's and your house when you shop. More goes out the door than not. Than comes in a weird way. You're throwing away more again and again and again. And it's got us all damned, my friends. And the thing is, we can't stop unless there's something else that we can do with our bodies. And we know that. And we want it to be better than we're doing right now, because let's face it, if we all agree to try something and it sucks, we're going to want to go right back to shopping. That's what Plato tells us in the allegory of the cave, right? It is so radically different outside of the cave. If you, as a hero, you can't just figure out how to get out of the cave. If you're going to do the archetypal hero game that Joseph Campbell talks about, what Campbell misses, Campbell supposes that the archetypal hero gets everybody out of the cave and it's all happy days after that. That's not how it works at all. The world outside the cave, Plato tells us, is radically different. And it means that reality has to be radically different. If you're going to be the hero that gets everybody out, you've got to figure out how to deliver to them a new reality that works so well outside of the old reality that people are too grateful, too happy, and having too much fun to look back on the old one with any kind of regret or remorse, except to say, man. And that's the other thing Plato implies to us, is that this solution has to be so obvious that when we all face it, we all go, okay, we should have done this years ago. Isn't that what you all know to be true about this reality that's haranguing you? Right? Don't you know that to be true? That not only do we need to stop what we're doing because we've murdered our oceans, and if we've murdered our oceans, that means that we're basically murdering ourselves very, very soon. Not only do we have to stop because our forests catch fire most of the year, every year. And if our oxygen comes from our oceans, then at least an important little bit comes from our trees, and we're burning all that shit to the ground accidentally. Not only do we have to do all that, not only do we have to deal with this crazy-ass gushing methane problem that we're not doing a goddamn thing about, except moving in to mine more petroleum. Which, by the way, all this methane is gushing right over the point where we're having all these crazy fires. Anybody remember that methane is insanely flammable? Come on, kids! You know, your children's lives are in danger right now. Do you understand that? The United Nations just told us so. Your children's lives, your lives are in danger right now. And your politicians are soap opera stars. What's Melania worked up about with this State Department chick, right? Read between the lines, people, it's obvious. What does Trump love? Money, loose women who moonlight as, who, especially if they moonlight as porn stars, and Filet-O-Fish sandwiches. Not Melania. She used to be a loose woman who moonlighted as a porn star. But once she became his wife, he lost interest in her. State Department chick, right? He's bullying her right in front of everybody. Melania can't stand it. Okay? We're trapped in a soap opera with these people, and our Congress, our Supreme Court have given away our government. Our currency belongs to our enemies, legitimately. And we are in mortal peril as a people. And our entire leadership matrix is failing to address that. The new Congress that's going into office, they're going in to lynch our president. Pay attention to me. I'll show you how to get your president under control in the very next video, I promise. Okay? Do it yourselves. Don't have your fucking Congress waste its time. Get a grip on your president yourselves. It's easy. I'll show you how. Okay? It's going to blow your mind. I just gave you a clue. What are his 3 favorite things? Not Melania. Go back and watch those and think about what I said. Every man has his price, even me. Not me. Fuck you. Not me. Anybody go back and watch that Win video? You know, look what I found. Let me ask you. I'm going to tell you this again. If you found the secret of the universe, how much would you charge people for it? Right? How much would you charge people for it? If I can find a way, I won't charge any of you for it. If you can help me out with a few snacks for Max, we'll make sure that doesn't have to happen. Synchronicity, synchronicity, everybody's watching all my synchronicities. So, 0 point energy, let's close this one off, right? Why do you want to be in 0 point energy? Because ultimately, the message of 0 point energy is, try to remember, this is only a game. And what that means is, on a fundamental level, this is all supposed to be fun. And it's supposed to be a learning experience for everyone. And actually, if we act together in radically new ways where we reframe everything that we do as games, and that means work too. Projects as opposed to endless tasks. And coming together as a people, not as one massive mob, but as tribes and nations of tribes, right? That's how you survive. And you do these things as games. You structure them as games. You can run governments on game theory. You can fucking run parking tickets in a city on game theory. You can run currency better on game theory. And it can be fun and not harangue everyone. And also, in the market of a game system, you can control disparities in wealth better. And you can also make all of these things merit-based, as opposed to rewards for the opportune and conniving, who are especially good at fascination management. The template that I've made these synchronicities work for me is that I turn everything that I do in my life into a game. I orient myself continuously to nature. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, so that I'm always on the lookout for the next play. Are you listening to what I say? Endogenous.tech. I'm Grant Victor. Thanks for watching.